Are you ready for Combat Night?
What's up, guys? We are fresh off of Combat Night Pro St. Pete, and I'm going to bring the fellas in because we are looking forward to talking about a fantastic card we had last night. Oh, this guy's still slavey.
Oh, man. That had an amazing card last night. Kept me up all night. It's about to pop me a little free so I can get through this interview. No coffee this late. Just a little nicotine.
All right. We'll also have Coach Ben and the Black Santa.
Yeah.
Oh, well, you already know.
Glad to see everybody made it home safe.
It was a nice drive today. Very pretty scenery.
Can you toss me one of those frees, Mitch? Can you toss me one? Oh, thank you.
There you go.
Man, that was amazing.
Didn't know he's also a part-time magician.
Yeah. Man, everyone's on these pouches, bro.
Man, I know they say nicotine is addictive, man.
It is.
But you ain't know it was addictive.
Man, nicotine, so good. That's why I can't mess with it.
All right, boys. Last night we had a bunch of fights, 23 fights. And we're just going to take it from the top, talking about our main event real quick. Paulo Gams versus Marquez Forrest. Forrest won by unanimous decision. He came in 6-1 against a super experienced guy in Paulo Games. And that's what he did pretty much all fight. He played a bunch of games all throughout while Forrest was using some effective striking, but was kind of really tentative with his attack, despite Games kind of hanging out in front of him and trying to bait him forward and get him to move forward. He just didn't. So it was not a super exciting fight to watch, but Games made it a little bit more entertaining, dancing around a little bit. It was reminiscent of like Anderson Silva, the way he kind of used to play in there. But that was our main event. Our co-main event, holy smokes, Christian Losen versus Keith Speed. Christian came in 11-2 against an experienced Keith Speed, who has been kind of like an up-and-comer star killer with us before. And Losen made a mark, showed he's ready for the next level once again. What do you think about that, Mitch?
That was a beautiful fight, man. I did not expect that from Lawson. I expected it to be a war. Keith Speed takes everyone the distance, and he wins fights against, undefeated guys all the time. And Christian also has a lot of experience, though. But I still thought it was going to be a 3-round fight. I was kind of surprised that Christian put him away, and the way he did. Christian has not been known for his power and his ground and pound. He made fun of himself, and man, to put him out like that was pretty insane.
Hold on. Let me see. If anybody else has a word on it, I'm going to pull up that finish real quick so we can just see that.
I mean, I got the chance to talk with Speed. He was saying after the takedown attempt, he couldn't really remember anything. He thinks he might have dropped Losen on his head, like in the scramble. I haven't seen the clip. I just saw the moment, so I can't be sure. But Losen did escape position very quickly and get right into mount, and he was really thumping him, man. It was a bad look at the end. Early
I
on,
love
though,
these
he hurt him in that.
When he threw that kick and had Losen's leg up on his shoulder, and he did crack him a little bit with that first punch. Like, I was in the corner waiting to get in the cage, and Losen said, "Hey, man, that first punch, man, he got me." Like,
yeah, it busted his lip.
Yeah, his lip was busted. Looked like he had a little Poucheesy in there.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Oh, he kind of came. He kind of turned around, maybe hit him with the elbow.
Maybe.
I mean that.
But he still grappled. He was telling me he didn't remember any of this.
When he spun around to get in good position, it looked like his elbow might have hit him.
Could have been. Dude, look how long he is that he can hold on to that seatbelt and put in hooks.
Not just long, but also opposite side of the body, put it in, and he's flexible. He's long and
Downright
flexible.
limber.
So, but
Yeah.
still very strong.
Yeah, this top mount was.
Yeah, he was all over him, no matter which way he turned.
Man, that could have been stopped like earlier. But I'm obviously biased. I care about the guy. So
Yeah, I rewatched it from the ref cam. It was definitely a punch late. There was 2 punches that landed him kind of hard after the fact. But the first one was kind of so fast, but the second one, could have sacrificed yourself to not be.
Yeah.
Great fight though from Lawson. Deserves to be in the UFC. Deserves to get paid money. Deserves to get the hell out of here and not have to worry about the regional scene anymore. Should be gone.
Yeah, 12-2. He's definitely, to me, the next Combat Night OG that's gonna make it to the big show. Like,
I mean, I know Keith took this fight on short notice, so props to Keith as well. It's not an easy task to talk about when you take on a guy like Christian Lawson. But I mean, he just took Angel Mercado, our current 55 champ, the distance. Christian just finished him in the first round. Needs to be in the UFC. And Angel Mercado's
2 minutes.
Mercado's 8-1.
Yeah. Prior to that, we had a catchweight bout at 150 pounds between David Zellner and David Macias. Macias getting his pro career started off with a bang, 2-0 against the pretty seasoned David Zellner, who we know is tough as nails and is hard to kill. And Macias came in and looked crispy and got a TKO in round 2.
Improved to 3.
Fantastic.
Yeah, improved to 3-0. His head movement and his feints and everything he does is really, really, it's beautiful, to be honest with you. He puts it all together really well. He's a complete mixed martial artist. I'm a fan of him. I always lean towards the guys that entertain. Every time I see his name is called, he entertains. Him and Zellner, I think, agreed to fight each other about 3 weeks ago. Crazy fight for him to accept, if you ask me. I mean, Zellner is a G. He's hard to finish. For him to get this finish is a really big deal. He's an OG with us. He was a champ with us. He's fought in PFL. He's fought bare knuckle. And Macias, Macias was on him from the first bell to the final punch. Macias was looking to do damage and be mean. Stuff was landing. He did get clipped by Zellner. But we talked right after the fight. And I like the kid even more now because he literally already knew what he did wrong. Was talking about how he has to correct it, that it's happened to him now in 2 fights with us. He fought Romello and also got clipped. And he made a good observation about himself. When he rolls, he's putting his head down instead of keeping his head up, putting the head down, exposing the back of the head. And when he's rolling hooks, the hooks just got to clip you back there. I mean, everyone knows there's a reason why you don't want to get hit in the back of the head. And he's already looking to make improvements. And that was the same night of the fight.
Yeah, Macias
he definitely looked really smart in there.
Yeah, I feel like every time we see him in a fight in the combative gun, man, his hands just get quicker and quicker. Like, that man is so slick and smooth.
Big 45er.
Yeah, he was very entertaining. Prior to that, we had a lightweight bout between Francisco Segredo and Mikey Conlon. Francisco, coming off a big KO win in Duval, was looking to keep his winning ways going. Mikey Conlon missed weight, came in to this bout undefeated, and they got into a bit of a grapple fest.
I have never seen somebody hand someone a fight on a silver platter the way Mikey Conlon did for Francisco Segredo. The stand-up was pretty even, in my opinion. It's good little exchanges. Mikey would do all the work to get the takedown, get him down, take the back, put the hooks in, get the seatbelt grip, and then Segredo has a never quit mentality, and that is what Mikey wasn't prepared for. He thought he was settling on the back. In MMA, I think it's a bad idea to bring someone on top of you and back control. I think you should be working to be on top of them in back control, especially once Segredo did it every round. Segredo got his back taken and turned in his guard, and then Mikey was tired because he had to work to get the takedown. He had to work to secure the back position, And now he has to work to get up, and he didn't. So Segredo let him do all the hard work, and all he had to do was switch his hips. Crazy.
Yeah, we were talking about that during the fight. Actually, like, all right, the first round, okay, he got his back. He turned into him with like maybe a minute left. Then the second round, he did it again, turned into him with like 90 seconds left. Then the third round, I was like, okay, Mikey, man, he can't do the same thing. And he turned into him with like 3 minutes left. And that's basically all he did was just, I think this was definitely the most durable and the most seasoned opponent that Mikey has faced, thus far. I don't think he was, prepared for this level of grit that Francisco was able to bring in there. And especially, shout out to all the, the 35 and over, fighters out there, man. Francisco, man, he just proved, man, all it takes is just grit and determination.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to be on someone's back against the cage like that. That is not.
Yeah, this
you.
is not jujitsu. It's MMA. Now, if this is jujitsu, grappling tournament or whatever, you're trying to work that choke in. But when it comes to MMA, man, that cage is up, grind up against you. Like that's not a dominant position, in my opinion, to be in. Especially when he did it the first and the second round, he did the same thing. He turned his hips just right into you. At least do maybe a body lock triangle or something. But just having your hooks in somebody and they're pressing their back into you. Going into the third round, he should have, okay, man, this guy did the same thing the first 2 rounds. Let me switch it up.
And then here, they're like, open your guard and get up. Like right here, he could have got up. I was like, oh, and he did even some slick back takes off of side control and half guard. But man, just the urgency and I feel like, I don't know, the will. He also did miss weight. Segredo looked fit. He looked like a true martial artist, and yeah, man, it was a big upset. But Segredo's now 2-0 with us in a month's time, and he said, talk to me about August. I know he'll want another prospect. He's our, we have the prospect killer in Ginseng. And
I was just about to say that. Yeah,
and now we got Segredo. I love these OGs. I mean, these are the guys. If you can't beat these guys, you can't beat anyone in the UFC. So you got to go through these guys. These are the guys they're going to test these young guns, these prospects. I love it.
All right. Prior to that, we had Monty Morrison and Kevin Hine. Kevin Hine took home the split decision victory over Monty Morrison. That one had a little bit of hijinks in it. There were some eye pokes and stuff. That fight wore on for quite a while.
I think I need another free. That's what that fight had me feeling like. 30-minute fight. Lot of hesitation to pull the trigger. Story of the fight for me.
Yeah, I think Monty's going to go back and watch this fight and be like, after Jordan Moore definitely laid out the game plan. All you got to do is just survive, not even the first round, just survive that first 3-minute onslaught there from Kevin Hine, and then just pick him apart. He had clearly had the range and the distance on him. Like you say, you just need to pull the trigger a little bit more, pop that jab more, wait for Kevin Hine to rush him, boom, switch knee, uppercut, stuff like that, because he tends to, lunge forward. All of his weight is coming off of his back foot because he's trying to lunge forward. Just take a big, deep breath in. All Monty had to do was just step back, 1-2 power uppercut.
I really thought.
But that's been the story of Monty, his last 2 or 3 fights.
Yeah.
I don't know what happened to him, but he stopped fighting, or at least stopped fighting forward. He has got really strong range management. He's got a good jab. He's got a very powerful right hand. And he was using none of it. He was letting Hine take presence. He was letting Hine be the aggressor, even though at a lot of times Monty just didn't do anything offensively, really. He had fabulous defense, impossible to take down. But he didn't do anything.
Yeah, as you see there, every time he, Kevin Hine rushed in to take him down, Monty, popped right back up. Like he couldn't really hold him down.
This was the closest finishing point. Yeah, this was the closest finishing point in the fight, but he shrugged him off to the side. And to Kevin Hine credit, whatever he learned from the Jordan Moore fight, he came back and definitely changed his approach. He didn't come out like a rocket ship. He came out measured. And, with regards to his progression, I saw some progression there for him. So
100%, man.
Definitely.
And he beat Monty's a G. Monty has way more fights than him. That was not an easy fight. Yeah. I'm surprised he took the fight, to be real with you. I'm surprised he took it, especially after what happened with Jordan Moore. But hats off to him for finding a way to get the victory and secure the win. That was not an easy fight.
Hein was telling me when he was in college, they were getting ready for the number one year's NCAA winner to get, another title. And the three guys were like Philip Hughes, Hawaiian UFC fighter. I think his last name is Punta Cana, Coconut Hands, I think is his nickname. But they were all in the same wrestling team, prepping. He's like, I got these guys who really did the best of an era. Now, two high-end UFC guys and me. It's his turn to come up. And he brings that intensity. He definitely learned from the last time, kind of got into it. But still, room to grow for everybody.
Before that, we had another welterweight bout, Ricky McConaughey and Ali Abusalam. Ali coming off of a win, undefeated, 2-0, and McConaughey also undefeated. These guys came in, and Ali Abusalam kind of did what he does, which was coming in there and grinding one out.
Yeah, pressure. Story of that fight, pressure. Heard a lot of good things about McConaughey. How do you say that? McConaughey. Yeah.
Don't ask Miles.
I mean, I liked his beard though. There's only two people in the state of Florida I'm gonna say that have a better beard than me. This Ricky dude and Austin Lane, and that's about it.
Well, Ricky's from. He actually looks like a little Austin Lane.
Yeah.
Ricky is from Alabama, so right. He's from out of the state.
Yeah, he's from Alabama. He's from Birmingham.
Yeah, he trains at 10th Planet Birmingham.
I wish Ali would. I feel like when he strikes, his striking is to wrestle. Like his intention is he's gonna go to the takedown. Like that's it. I would like to see him sit down on his shots more, and especially these head kicks. He's landing head kicks in every one of his fights. When you look at Ali, that guy head kicking you should be putting people out. I think if we just put a little more umph into it and really and had the bad intentions, he's knocking people out with these head kicks.
Agreed. Prior to that, there was a heavyweight bout between Cody Judd and J.R. Crosby. J.R. Crosby picked up the win, TKO round 1, about 30 seconds. Before that, there was a featherweight bout with Richard Reich and Alexander Tierney. Alexander Tierney, both of these guys making their pro debut. Alexander Tierney picking up the win via rear naked choke in round 2.
That was one hell of a fight, guys.
Baby Sean Strickland looked good.
Your classic, striker versus grappler that we've seen Richard Reese, in the combating on tons of times, top level, Cuban grappler. And then Alex Tierney, man, those he was able to defend, stop the takedowns, and then use his hands, to finish off the rest, and eventually got his back for that choke.
Man, I gotta shout out El Tigre. With Young Tigers Foundation, and he's evolved so much. His striking, his hands look great, and in a relatively short time since his last fight with us. Really, really beautiful work by El Tigre. He didn't get the nod, but he performed extremely well throughout. And Tierney was a much denser, much bigger man. Sitting where Miles and Ramsey and I sit, I was making mention. You could hear his fists thudding through the headset. He had so much power in those hands, man.
Yeah, Reich looked good.
Tierney could be a star.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, Tierney can be a star.
He looked fantastic.
I'm excited to have him with us.
All right. Prior to that, we had another couple of guys. Well, actually, one guy making his pro debut in Timothy Abdel Shahid, picking up a unanimous decision victory over Peyton Hayes. Peyton Hayes, ton of amateur experience, dropped his first pro fight, but was definitely coming in with like a bat out of hell. He was not playing around, and so was Timmy. And Timmy got to it early. Looked like he was going to get a stoppage.
No, it didn't.
All right.
He hit him with
don't
that knee to the face, and he kind of took a knee, and Timmy should have just kept on him for 5 more seconds.
Just
he let him off the hook.
one big punch from up top, flying down. But learning lesson for Timmy.
Yeah, man.
You know, unless the body goes limp, you don't stop. You gotta see a limp body. You gotta see somebody or stiff. You know, the guy went down and was protecting himself right away. He was like, I don't want to get hit again. I'm protecting myself. So he's at that point, he's intelligently defending himself. He's not turning away. You know, he's not face first. So, you know, again, he made that decision in a millisecond, right? Of, okay, I won. My hands are up. But man, I think he, you know, I think it's best case scenario though, still for Tim, that he did not get the walk-off KO. Here it is.
100%.
I think that the kid's fighting back the whole time. He's not quitting.
To Tim's credit, even after this moment, he gets right back to it. Like he didn't lose any of his oomph after that slight miscalculation.
And you know,
he got right back on top of him.
How many guys get this experience in their pro debut where they're fighting the guy who's a dog, who's game, who wants to be there, who's not looking for an easy paycheck. And he got 3 rounds. You know, he got 3 rounds of this. So I think it's invaluable experience for Tim. Everything happens for a reason. I know he wanted the walk-off KO, but he needed this. He needed this.
Yeah. Man, I was going to say the same thing. A lot of the guys now highlight, they want to be in and out in 30 seconds. They don't take fights like this. They don't take fighters like Hayes within their first 3 or 4 fights, let alone their first fight. This was not a safe debut. Hayes was a dog, and he proved it. And Tim looked fantastic the whole time. His takedowns were very nice. His striking was on point. He was doing damage, and he was going right through Hayes' guard. Timmy was aggressive throughout transitions. Every opportunity to finish he took. Big props to Timothy for being able to even perform like that, let alone against such a tough guy. Fantastic work. And a strong showing by Hayes, man. He looked great.
Yeah, I want to have him back. He's we got a lot of flyweights, trying to build that flyweight division. I think he'll make some waves in it for sure.
Definitely.
We kicked the pro card off with what turned out to be an absolute banger. Ben Harris versus Aaron Franz. Both of these guys making their debut. Ben Harris, one of our champs as an amateur, tough as nails, looked like he was in phenomenal shape. He definitely looked like he became a professional between his last amateur bout and his pro debut. And Aaron Franz, all the way over from Iceland. Both of these guys taking a super hard fight. I think Aaron having an experience as an amateur of traveling for all of his bouts due to MMA being illegal in Iceland. So I think that can speak to like adding some good tread to an amateur athlete right off the bat. And he came in and put on a show against what we know to be an extremely game Ben Harris.
Yeah, you know, Ramsey, we spent some time over in Iceland and met Aaron and got to know him a little bit better. Even with that being said, I love Ben, and I grew to love Aaron over the time we spent in Iceland and being around him more, and how bad he wanted it. He has been asking to debut with us for like 6 months now. But understand, if you don't come up with Combat Night and you want to come to Combat Night as a pro, as an amateur later in your career, we're putting you against a dog. We're putting you against someone who has come up in Combat Night, and we're going to find out real quick if you got it or not.
He definitely proved he got it, man. Like, I didn't know who he was before time, but Ramsey in the booth, he was talking about, oh yeah, man, you know, these are one of the guys that we train with. I've never, you know, seen him before. I've seen Ben, you know, he's always had Combat Night Wars. Like you said, he was a champion for us. And this dude, man, Aaron, man, he gained a new fan in Black Santa, man. This dude was crisp and phenomenal, man. I can't wait to see him back in there.
Yeah, look at that. The way he just changed levels. His footwork was beautiful. Everything looked so good.
This definitely looked like this was like a pro debut matchup for either one of these guys.
What we saw right as you started talking Santa was his first attempt at the high spinning back wheel kick that ends up being the one that becomes the beginning of the end.
That right hand was just the way he slipped off the center line and threw it. It wasn't like an over. It was like a little bit of an over, but not, crazy. It was a very skilled, and that was nasty.
And that kick just popped.
Oh, and man, Bags. Yo.
With the tackle on the goal line.
Can we replay that?
Yeah.
But I want to see that ref and Chris McNulty go head up in Oklahoma drills, man. Because the both of them, man, when it comes to finish a fight, man, both of these guys are going in like line the two of them up. Him and Chris McNulty, line them up. Put on some shoulder pads.
Look at his shoulder check. Oh, I mean, look, great stoppage. I just wish he would have went in and grabbed Ben instead of Aaron.
I don't think he anticipated Ben going out in that instant. I thought.
Yeah, it was kind of he hit him with a shot that also made him go in the same direction. For sure, wasn't intentional, but it looks bad.
I think you're typically like you show your back to the attacker, right? And you can kind of like cover the other guy if that's the play. But I guess you could also kind of chop block the dude attacking too.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
Football terminology though.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a fast knockout too.
I'm just going to show this again because this kick was just a thing of beauty.
Oy.
Yeah, the one thing too that I like about Iran was, like you said, he threw that spinning kick early on in the fight, and it's not like some guys they throw something, they keep on throwing till it work. He threw it. He said, okay. He put that in his pocket. All right, I'm gonna use this later, to finish him. That's like high level, IQ stuff. Whereas you see some guys, they just keep on spamming the same thing, over and over. He did it once. He was like, okay, I know I can catch him with this later on. Piece him up, and then that's what he used, to eventually finish him off with.
It's beautiful.
Well, and to Ben's credit, instantly he came over there to us, was like, that was early. That's
crazy.
I was commentating that one, and I was just like, I was kind of, it wasn't though, like that one. No. But Ben's a dog.
Not even close.
Ben's a dog.
All right.
Yeah, I know he's excited to hop back. He said, August 9th, man, I want back,
Oh, yeah. To his credit, I saw a post he made on socials today saying his morale was good, his health was good. This type of thing happened in the fight game. Props to him for handling that like a pro right out the gate. And I look forward to seeing him back with us.
I want to see him against Bashmir. Maybe I know Bashmir is looking to turn pro soon. I know both of those guys want that, that amateur title fight back. I think that would definitely be another, great matchup now, the two of them as pros, and give, Bashmir. I know he said he wanted more of a fuller fight,
maybe
or something like that. But
November Rise of a Warrior.
I don't know. I mean,
August 9th, Combat Night, or November maybe. Like,
man,
Miles, what weight was that fight at? Do you know?
35.
You know what fight? You know what weight Bashmir fights at?
45.
Oh, 40. They didn't fight when they were amateurs. It was at.
Ben took all his fights
45.
at 45 and 55 as an amateur.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't want to see that fight.
Never mind then.
if Ben went up to 45,
man.
but I think
Bashmir's
Ben's
in the chat. Bashmir said he won August 2.
I think Ben's a 35er.
Yeah,
Can Bashmir make 35? He's tall and slim.
That bad man be a big man. He's huge.
All right, let's jump onto the amateur undercard, which was headlined by Jaime Navarrete and Devin Pegg. Devin Pegg picking up the unanimous decision, taking his record to 8-2 over Jaime Navarrete. And we know Navarrete. I kept Navarrete. Jaime Navarrete is an explosive guy, and Devin Pegg, Manu the Great, came in looking fantastic. Let's see if I can pull up some of that action. Go ahead, talk on it.
Yeah, man. Devin Pegg was supposed to fight for us, I think about a year ago, and his teammate stepped up to fight in his place against Joe Gonzalez, Emilio, and I was very excited to see that fight. just Devin in general fighting with us. He's fought with a lot of other promotions in the state. He's one of those guys I've always had my eye on outside of us because of how talented he is. And I loved having him with us, man. He was another guy. Kind of reminds me a lot of David Macias. You know, he has the braids, similar fighting style. He puts it all together really well. And he's an entertainer. Every time his name is called, the man is entertaining. Also, is a family man. I like that. He's got kids. Brought them to weigh-ins and all of those things. I mean, he was a class act to work with, and I'm excited to hear he's going pro, and I hope to see him, back with us fighting as a pro.
I mean, Peg showed a very, very in this one. Jaime is no joke. Even though he has half the experience, Jaime is a hitter. Heavy-handed, really strong wrestling, a good top pressure, and a good finishing game. 2 of his 3 wins are by submission, and he put both of those guys to sleep. So for Peg to be able to take him down as easily as he did and to control the grappling almost in its entirety throughout is damn impressive. Beautiful showing.
That submission attempt you just showed, Ramsey, at the very end of the 3rd round, Devin was looking at me like, I'm gonna get this. Watch, I'm gonna get this. I could just see it in his eyes, and man, it was that was deep. I'm excited. Like I said, I'm excited to see him go pro, and see him make some waves there as well.
All right, the undercard co-main event was Phoenix eBay and Juan Cruz Hulk Smash versus El Matatan. Juan Cruz came in undefeated, and he looked like
Baby Hulk.
Triple C. That's who he looked like too, man.
Where was Jack, man? He was like a little thing off of Fantastic Four. He just muscles everywhere.
He was.
I obviously I'm a big fan of Phoenix. He's fought for us a lot. Maybe he can't make 35, but I felt like there was a big strength difference here. I mean, look at it. Homeboy swinging.
Yeah, even though Phoenix was the taller fighter, Juan was definitely like the bigger, fighter.
Yeah, and the clip picked up right where Phoenix had knocked his mouthpiece out of his mouth.
Yeah, Phoenix can strike, man. Phoenix can grapple too. One little mistake that was, he made one little mistake there. Turned his head before he turned his back. Should have turned his back to that cage. That's all it takes when you're fighting an experienced guy like Juan. A lot of wins under his belt, experience, and when you see guys with undefeated records, if they're 4-0, 5-0, and it doesn't really matter the competition, but those guys are going for finishes and they find mistakes, and that's what he did. He found the mistake the Phoenix made, got the win. That was a very competitive fight up to that point. But man, you could just see how big and strong Juan was. And I think Juan can maybe make 35. I have to give her some muscle, but for his build, he'll probably do better if he goes down a little bit. He was very short.
All right.
Short kings need fans too.
All right. Prior to that fight, there was a fantastic finish from Christoph Williams over Ruben Matamoros. I'm just going to pull that up. Body kick finishes are always gnarly.
Last St. Pete card as well, didn't he? Williams?
Christoph, yeah.
Knees. So this one started with a liver, not a liver, maybe a solar plex shot, and then that kick. And then the end, how he ends it.
He's been an absolute sniper.
Sipping tea in the hood.
Yeah, he looked great.
I love Christoph too, man. He's a good kid. Something about Jamaican fighters, I don't know. They're probably my favorite that we work with.
Real bad man.
Prior to that, there was an atomweight WMMA bout. Alexis DePetro picking up a split decision over Melissa Gu. And before that, we had a bantamweight bout with Tyler the Barbarian Canant versus Andy Garcia. That's the Tyler Connaught's the Logan Paul variant.
Yes.
I can't believe he's 135. That's insane.
And he picked up a win via finish.
When I see guys like built like him making 35 and guys built like Tim making 125, that's when I'm like, Phoenix, we can do 35.
Yeah, when you're tall and slim, don't have that much, you know. You can drop down. You don't have that much muscle to lose. Just, you know, spend a little extra time in the sauna or just plan out. I know, you know, especially if you're going to take this seriously, man, you know, get your nutritionist or look up a diet plan and just, you know, plan your, you know, weight cut a little bit, you know, early. Don't, especially in between fights, if you're a young fighter and you know want to take fights and be active, don't allow your body to, you know, blow it up. Some fighters say, man, I can't make that. I can't make that. No, you can make that. You just got to, you know, look and say, what is it that you're eating and, you know, how you allowing your body to, you know, blow up, you know, in between fights. But if you, like you said, if you look at the frame of Phoenix eBay versus some of these other guys like Tim, like Tyler, man, he can make it, you know, drop down one weight class.
Get rid of the hair.
I'm about to say maybe he might have to trim some of that hair. You know, Seven Perkins, he just did that last month, man. He cut the locks. He was like, hey man, I just need to cut it off and just, you know, make this run for the pro ranks.
And you know what? I bet he was like Piccolo taking off that cape. His head got lighter, head movement got better.
Remember with Ginseng du Jour, when he cut his dreads off, he lost 6 pounds.
Yep.
Yeah, it definitely holds water.
129 instead of 135. Every time he cut 6 extra pounds of water.
Crazy.
Prior to that bout, we had Hubert Lanoska over James Gadsden. Both of those guys were undefeated. Hubert came in picking up an win via Americana. See if I can pull that out. He was in round 2. Yeah, these guys were slugging it out.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. The Hubert and the James. Yeah, they were. Yeah, this was what Hubert's third fight. Yeah, man, he definitely has some heavy hands and had grappling as well. That's what you want to be when you're, if you're trying to make this a career, man, you got to study everything. And Hubert definitely showed, man, he stuffed the takedowns, especially as James Gadsden got a little bit tired. Once you're able to stuff, a fighter's, takedown, then you'll be able to decide, where this goes. They got on top of him, just heavy, just smashing him. I like guys who are active. Like, yeah, I took you down, yeah, I sprawled on you, but I can chase submissions. I can be active with these hands. He didn't just, try to just lay on top of him and just hold it out.
Yeah, this card had a little bit of everything. We had some knockouts, some body knockouts, some submissions. All right. Prior to that one, we had a couple of decisions. Featherweight Muay Thai bout, Felicia Phillips lost to Brianna Machado. And prior to that, we had Kennedy Chase picking up the win over Brenda Gams. I thought it was really cool that Brenda Gams and her dad were fighting on the same card. That was pretty cool.
Yes, it was
dope.
They
were just trying to be like the Donaldsons.
Yes, it was dope. Father-daughter. I think it's the first time it's ever happened. We've had the father-son. But props to Brenda, man. She stepped up on a couple of days' notice to fight Kennedy. And, to me, it was a great fight. Both the ladies went in there and threw down, put on a show for the fans. But, to be there in her dad's corner and for her dad to be in her corner, it was a cool moment to see.
So Brenda came out really throwing hard shots, heavy shots. And Kennedy was just kind of pacing it. But as the fight wore on, that fatigue set in for Brenda. And what we're going to see here is kind of a little example of both of that.
Some of that body work.
Yeah, it was definitely the pressure. Just keep on moving, forward, especially in that first round. Even though Brenda Games was piecing her up, but she was piecing up going backwards. Kennedy just from round 1 to round 3, she just kept on and kept on, coming forward, man.
As a body.
Yeah, pressure and volume itself, that in itself is like a weapon and a skill. Like if you just keep on coming forward like a zombie on your opponent, throwing landing strikes, like you said, working up top to the head and the body, man, that in itself is a skill that not too many fighters. I don't like to see when fighters, yeah, you can be patient and cautious and give your opponent the respect they deserve, but Kennedy, man, she just kept marching forward throughout the whole fight. I don't think Brenda was able to deal with that level of pressure.
No, it paid off for Kennedy.
And she definitely had loads of support. She had like half her family, out there with the pink on and the posters and stuff like that. Like that definitely does, make a difference for a fighter. Like when Combat Night comes to a city near you, tell your auntie, your coworkers, like tell your whole family, your whole friends, man, everybody, the whole gym should, come through. Like,
all right, the fight that was before that was Joshua Schaefer versus Brennan Froning. Joshua Dynamite Schaefer came out there.
Oh yeah, that dude there, boy.
And lived
He's only
up
18
to his
years
name.
old.
Crazy.
Why is he so angry?
That man is 18 years old with grown man strength and power in those hands. I see why they call him Dynamite. Like,
yeah, I'm about to pull up a couple of little sequences because he came right out the gate.
but if he decides to switch over and do MMA with little gloves, man, but he's putting people to sleep.
Oh,
Man,
he did. Oh,
that
that was that
uppercut
moment.
was right on the mush.
And he almost hit him again or grazed him again whenever he was down or low. And he got tossed to the side for his trouble by Jared. God. But he came out there and pulled the string.
Oh.
Yeah, when you have somebody hurt, keep their back up against the gauge.
Jesus.
Drop them, man. It's Dynamite in those hands for sure.
Why are you still counting? Why are you
There's
still
nothing
counting?
to count. There's nothing to count. Like,
That shit was
Stop counting.
Yeah, the count was unnecessary.
But hey, I would rather you count and give the guy the chance than just wave it off and the guy pops up. Like, so
True.
I give him a hard time, but understand I would rather see that. You got 8 seconds to decide that fighter can continue fighting. Yeah, count.
All right. Before that, we had Christian Lee versus Cody Hernandez. Christian Lee, both making his debut. Cody Hernandez, 1-0 out of Gracie West Chase, came in, picked up a win via rear naked choke. You see right off the bat, they came out getting after it.
Lee pretty clearly wanted to just brawl it out. And I guess Hernandez got a little taste early on. It was like, nah, we gonna grapple. And once it hit the floor, Lee seemed to be a bit of a fish out of water. Hernandez was all over him.
Yeah, this was a serious squeeze.
Oh, yeah. All the way to slumber.
Christian was a fight. Yeah, he no quitting him.
Yeah, went out on the shield. And then we've come to talk about the first 3 bouts that kicked off the evening, or some kickboxing bouts. One was at 155, Osage Skyers versus Gavin Stevens. Osage picking up the win via unanimous decision. And this is a guy that Ben was talking about, came up through, the PKB and stuff like that.
Yeah, I sent Osagi into Mitchell just like a week or two ago, maybe 3. I met him in the IKFs. He had a match with Corey Wint, who already fights for us, and it was a really competitive match. And Osagi took the dub on that one. So I set it up. I was like, bro, this is full contact, and he's fantastic. He was so
Yeah, did great.
dynamic, so powerful. His legs are crazy. The Coliseum echoed with every shot.
Yeah, you see some of those blistering body shots he was landing.
Yeah, the stomach, the abdomen of Gavin Stevenson was so red after. Like, but he's a tough dude. I'm surprised, he didn't Osage didn't finish him with the body kicks.
Yeah.
I made comment to this during the fight. In the 3rd round, he really, like, Osage was like, he's hurt. I'm winning. We don't need to make this worse. And just kind of let him through because he had very little output in that 3rd, but he had opportunities.
But yeah, that was pretty much the story of that fight. Was a lot of toughness from Gavin Stevens, a lot of fight in him, and just a dynamic performance from Osage Skyers. Them kicks were something to see. Prior to that, we had a kickboxing bout at 140 with Duvon Bezuidenhout and Zach Bryant. That was a couple of guys looking to pick up their first win, and they threw down hard.
I can't believe that both of those guys didn't have a win. They were both
good.
It looked really good, man.
Yeah.
Which just goes to who did they fight previously, and what kind of dog was that?
Bezuidenhout had a very tough, I think, debut with us in Orlando, I want to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's fought for us before. Yeah, both of these
good.
guys are definitely well skilled. And they had about it, going back and forth. It was the third, to me, it was that 3rd round, is where Duvon sort of like pulled away, a little bit there. It's always, that 3rd and final round, man.
Every round counts the same, but if you're slacking in the 3rd or you're dying off, man, you can find yourself in a world of trouble you don't want to be in.
Yeah, that was something that was super entertaining about this fight. Was the action was just as hot in the 3rd as it was in the 1st. There was
they were nonstop,
no fall off.
Yeah, it was great. That's why I love the lighter weights. Anything under 155, just all gas, no brakes.
All right, that brings us to the first bout of the evening, which was a youth kickboxing fight. Zayden Feliz Sosa and Moses Bravo, both making their debut at 145 pounds. And these kids looked dynamite.
Yeah. Man, they were really impressive.
Yeah, they look so skilled, well beyond their years, man. These kids, probably just got their learning permit. And the way they came out there with just the striking, man, that was just, phenomenal. I can't wait to see how these guys look, when they turn, 21.
I think they
18, when they turn 18 to see them strike.
I think they were 14.
Watch this blitz from Sosa.
It was down as 15 on the papers. Dude, Sosa is yoked for a 15-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever I think
Look
about
at these. This is grown men right here.
No doubt.
There's grown men that won't do this. Slipping, ripping, landing, firing back. Crazy.
They're so clean. Like the teams, the kids we just had in Orlando a couple weeks ago, these guys, the handful of teams we've seen down south with like Kurt Decker in the lot, they're so good. All of them. In 3 years, when these kids are 18, the level of talent that we're going to be dealing with here, as in reality, brand new pros, most likely, these kids could have 15 plus fights before they're even legal.
Yeah, if Zayden was at the baseball field, they'd be like, "Let me see his birth certificate,
see your papers."
Yeah.
I'm just blown away with the youth scene.
Yeah,
that we're getting in here, and a huge part of it is thanks to the work of Rich Grindle and the IKF Point Muay Thai tournaments. These kids can compete as low as 5 years old and get a wealth of experience all the way through adults. So I shout it out all the time. If you want to be a combat athlete and you are at the stage where you're sparring regularly and you want to start competing, don't go to full contact. Go to these point Muay Thai tournaments. Start with kickboxing. Some of them will even have boxing. Start with that and just build your way up. It will help you. It will calm you. It will mature you. And when you go into your full contact debut, you will be in a much, much, much better position for it.
For sure.
Yeah. Sosa, he was exhausted, dog. Todd, I was talking to his corner a little bit afterwards. They're like, man, yeah, tell him, Santa, man, he needs to, work on his cardio. Because afterwards, man, he was dog tired.
He was still pulling the trigger. Yeah. Down, he took a seat instantaneously, but he was still firing back, man. He had grit. He was willing to push through it.
All right. Any closing thoughts? Anything else interesting you guys want to talk about from last night's card?
No, man. Tampa, I'm surprised we only go to Tampa once. Yeah, I think we need to add another, Tampa card in there.
Hey, Miles, get us another sponsor in Tampa.
Yeah, get us another sponsor, bro. Get us another venue. All
right, yeah, man. I'll Ashley and I will work together. We'll get on a Zoom meeting and try to get these sponsors down. I'll drive up to Tampa and look around for some different venues, man. What y'all saying? The Coliseum ain't it anymore, or?
I love the Coliseum. It's just hard to get a date, and it is expensive.
Okay.
Yeah.
What's the maximum capacity? What's the maximum capacity you're looking for in the venue?
25, 3,000. 2,500, 3,000.
I'll write that down. 25, 3,000.
Why are you bullshitting, Miles?
I'm writing it right down. 25 to 3,000. 25 to 3,000. And we need
how many bananas, yogurt.
we need as many as you can get, brother.
Oh yeah.
If you got 8, give us 8.
If you got 18, give us 18.
Yeah.
I'll shoot for 8, but I'll give you a strong 3.
Okay.
I can get you a strong 3.
That sounds like the claims in a Tinder profile.
Why you been holding out, Miles?
That's the
all right.
question.
Well, we will be back July 19th in Fort Lauderdale for our next amateur event down there. Then we've got, tell me the exact date, August
9th in Kissimmee. August 16th in Tallahassee. October 4th back in Fort Lauderdale. October 25th, 18th in Orlando. November 8th in Jacksonville, and November 22nd in Fort Pierce to end the year.
But we do know there will be some other action to watch with our brother company, Rise of a Warrior, on the 12th.
Yes, sir.
We'll be out there for that. Check that out as well. Brian Santiago wants to know, meet you at the crib. Brian, this ain't text messaging.
Yeah, bro. But I'm here.
I want to get some Grammys on that August card.
On which card?
The August card.
No, so what's up with Marquez versus Sham?
That's not an Ammy. Sham still hasn't been back in the gym.
Get him back.
All right, boys.
All right, y'all. Have a good one, fellas.
All right.
Have a good one.
Are you ready for Combat Night?